My Life and Ethiopia's Progress, Chapter 46, Our Return to Addis Ababa. Our army, which had advised that we should fight at Korem, had taken an oath to this effect, was beginning to disperse, claiming that they had been told to go on the road to Lasta. They proceeded on their march with mutual recriminations. The chiefs who had remained with us observed the condition of the army and remarked to us that it would be better to retreat to the area behind us and to fight in Lasta or Yaju. However, as we were convinced that this was not a useful enterprise to do things on our own without an army, we departed from Eda Agafari on Sunday, the 27th of Megabit, which is the 5th of April 1936, at 12 o'clock, which is 6 p.m. Marched through that night and then rested at Lat Georgis at a cave called Gereza. We spent the day of Monday, the 28th of Megabit, which is the 6th of April, at Lat Georgis, and then marched at 12 o'clock, which is 6 p.m., to Gura Mariam. There we remained during the day of the 29th of Megabit, which is the 7th of April, and departed at 11 o'clock, which is 5 p.m., rested at Marewa at a place called Mariam Madir. On Wednesday, 30th of Megabit, which is the 8th of April, we stayed at Madir during the day and left for Azigge at 10 o'clock, which is 4 p.m. There we remained a little, and at 6:30, which is 12:30, we continued the march, reached Lasta, Kerarech, and rested there. On Saturday, the 3rd of Miyazia, which is 11th of April, we crossed the Takaze, and when we had arrived at Talas Ferre Selassie, we spent the night at church to celebrate the festival of the resurrection, which is Easter. On Sunday, 4th of Miyazia, which is the 12th of April, we spent the day at Talas Ferre Selassie on account of the Easter festival, and also remained there overnight. As prior to this day, the army, which was on the move, had marched onwards, a journey of 3 or 4 days. We transmitted the following order with the intention that no harm should befall either those who had gone ahead or those who had remained behind. May it reach you officers and troops who have advanced ahead. The fact that you have gone ahead and got separated from us has caused harm, and, therefore, as soon as this message reaches you, you are to stop and wait at the various places at which you have encamped. If, however, you proceed further after this order has reached you, you will be in the position of enemies towards me and my government. After this message had been received, Razgetachow and Ligaba Tassau stopped and waited in a district called Gemwasha, but other chiefs and troops, having gone ahead, lost many men when the country people attacked them. On the 5th of Miyazia, which is 13th of April, at 9 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock in the west, we set out from Telas Fari Selassie and marched to the churches at Holy Lalibela. Among the great notables in our retinue were Abuna Petros and Ichage Georgis, His Highness Raskasa Hailu, the Jazmach Wand Bawasan Kasa, the Jazmach Abara Kasa, the Jazmach Walde Emmanuel Hawas, and the Jazmach Adifasau Yenadu. On this day, at 4 o'clock in the evening, which is 10 p.m. in the US, we reached Lalibela and stayed the night in the house of His Highness Raskasa. At 10 o'clock during the night, which is 4 a.m., we went to Beta Miriam Church and had Mass celebrated there. On Tuesday, the 6th of Miyazia, which is the 14th of April, we toured and visited all the churches of Holy Lalibela. On this day, the American missionaries who at Lalibela received us and offered us hospitality. Subsequently, we went out to visit Ashaten Mariam, Later, we returned and again spent the night in Raskassa's house. On the 7th of Miyazia, which is the 15th of April, at 8 o'clock at night, which is 2 a.m., we departed and began our march. In the morning, we paid homage from afar to the church of Holy Naakweto Leeb, and then passed on to Ganeta Mariam. When we arrived there, the priest of Ganeta Mariam said the Nesebo prayer, which is the Magnificat, and received us with songs. Subsequently, we returned to Telasfari and arrived there at 6 o'clock, which is noon. We spent the night there. As we had previously heard of some clashes occurring between the army on the march and the country people, we issued the following proclamation so that troops as well as peasants should stop the quarrel amongst themselves and concentrate only on resisting the enemy. Proclamation. The Lion of Judah has prevailed. Haile Selassie first, Elector of God, King of Kings of Ethiopia. Men of my country of Ethiopia, while we are stationed at one place only, together with our army, our enemy has come upon us not only on one side, but distributed over some 8 directions. The fighting and mutual enmity between peasants and soldiers has become a source of great harm to our country and to our people, as our attacker has been striving to destroy Ethiopia's independence, setting fire to churches, uprooting inherited land, and debasing our religion. We have sent an army to Tembien and to Makele, and we ourselves have been toiling, entering into the slaughter to the extent that God has enabled us. But because it is only by fighting for many days that we shall be able to repulse our enemy's might, and because we have become convinced that by staying in one place for a long time, soldiers and peasants get into mutually hostile positions and fights, on account of looting, which are injurious to our people, we are now marching towards Shoa to wage the great battle in a province in which there are ample supplies. Do not believe it to be true when the enemy who has now invaded us distributes to you some pamphlets making his message appear agreeable. You have heard with your own ear and seen with your own eye the violence and iniquity he is now committing even upon our churches, priests, monks, and women. As he has come against us determined to extinguish our descendants and to pass our inheritance to his son, it is well known how even a thorn, let alone a human being endowed with intelligence, can cause trouble by hurting him who stumbles upon it at its habitat. So when he enters your land, attack him who camps or marches upon it, with all the means at your command. Go about your land and fight wherever you are, lest your country and your land be violated. But if it causes you difficulty to work while remaining on your land, then come to where we are, and we shall give you your livelihood for yourself and your dependents. So fight in company with us for your country, your inherited land, and for your religion. Since our enemy has risen up to extinguish the people, Ethiopia's future generation, whether rich or poor, he assembles the people in whichever district he enters, only to exterminate them with machine guns. You will be convinced of this if you ask what happened in Tambian and Adwa. Even the gentry who submitted to his command he arrested and carried away, without any wrongdoing whatever being found against them. Therefore, whether you fight or do not fight, death is bound to come to you. That I tell you this is not to my advantage or to deceive you. It is in fact for your own benefit, as I know for sure that afterwards they will catch up with you contrition that cannot be forgotten and loss that cannot be made good. Believe what I tell you without doubting it, for I have made God the witness that I make known to you that which I know myself. The 5th of Miyazia, 1928, which is the 13th of April, 1936, written at Telasfari in Lasta. Subsequently, we transmitted the following written orders in particular to the army marching with us. As it is necessary to observe caution on the journey henceforth, I shall appoint an officer for you who have none. So march without getting separated from him. You who have an officer, see that you are not separated from him during the march. On the march, two-thirds should join the escorts, one-third should join the camp followers. When you are on the march, keep your baggage in the center. You are to march without leaving your path, taking great care, and being in front and at the rear, left and right. If you remain behind the rear guard, or if you pass ahead of the Fitterari, you will be punished. If you are the commander of a marching column, obtain your papers in turn and proceed observing the order you have been assigned, without advancing ahead or straying behind. Ammunition is for you to fight with, and it is not for you to use for marketing. Hence, do not sell it. 5th of Miazia 1928, 13th of April 1936, written at Talasfare. Since our army had turned back in disarray, it was clearly a useless matter for us alone to carry on the work together with a few of our men. The plan which we had conceived, that is, of going ahead to Yeju, taking up positions there and to fight, had remained unfulfilled. Similarly, all the places which we had intended to be used for fighting had been occupied by the enemy who had got there first, and therefore we had to march being conducted along directions and routes which we had not intended to take. In the districts which we had to traverse, we certainly encountered things which were troublesome for our convoy. The districts through which we passed on our way from Metru to Addis Ababa were Sekota, Lasta, Wadla, Delanta, Warihimanu, Tenta, Alibet, Abebet, Legamba, Legahida, Gemma, Mida, Merhabete, Selale, and Fitch. We passed all these and entered Addis Ababa at 3 o'clock, which is 9 a.m. in the west, on Thursday, the 22nd of Miazia 1928, to the 30th of April 1936. Footnote: as regards the fighting reported in these chapters, particularly at Mechu, the verdict on the Emperor's own conduct by Colonel Konovalov and confirmed by Steer deserve mention. As far as the Emperor himself was concerned, his conduct during the offensive was irreproachable. He was always in the zone of artillery fire and continually exposed himself to danger. In the end, he went down into the plain and machine gunned the enemy himself with terrific effect.